I think it's really important that we recognize a few things that we absolutely need in a city manager.
Yeah, I think there's kind of a point at which you just have to, have a cut line there.
The city of Palm Coast has narrowed the field of candidates in its search for a new city manager.
The pool of 38 applicants is now down to 5 candidates. Mayor Mike Norris says they're planning 2 days of interviews, April 24th and 25th.
Yeah, one question would be, are the candidates that move forward really committed to moving to Florida? That's just something that really you need to reach out to all of them if we go with those, Doug, and make sure that they're committed. It's one thing to apply. It's another thing to pick up and move.
In addition to community tours, meetings with senior staff, and a public meet and greet, they're also going to interview one-on-one with Ty Miller and other members of the city council.
That's going to be when they can stand up to that scrutiny and be able to answer those questions for us, and they have the opportunity to impress us. And so that's what I'm going to be looking for. And so going into it, I'm not going to be eliminating anybody because of that, because I didn't rank them a certain way coming in. I think it's important to keep an open mind.
Councilwoman Teresa Pontieri wants someone who can run the city's books.
Because it is a completely different type of accounting than any of us have ever dealt with. You have to know not only the difference of between the different accounts, between the different funds, what comes into each fund and how each one of those can be expended, but also you have to have enough of a knowledge to be creative. So in other words, you have to understand what can we actually use impact fees for? How can we actually lessen a budget on one side and maybe have to increase a budget on another?
After the interviews, the city council will hold a workshop before the end of April to select a new city manager.
Good morning, Flagler County. I'm Rich Carroll. You're listening to Flagler's Morning News on Thursday, March 13th.
Infrastructure issues, period, are Florida-wide.
The new president of the Palm Coast Flagler Regional Chamber of Commerce joined Free for All Friday last week.
President John Phillips says Palm Coast is not the only city facing infrastructure challenges.
I think it is Florida-wide, especially with the recent hurricanes and things that have impacted Palm Coast, Flagler County, Volusia County, Seminole County, go through the whole list of the state. Infrastructure issues with flooding because of various storms, whether that's related to too much growth, not enough infrastructure, growing too quickly, whatever those answers are. And I certainly don't have all of those answers, but there is a 100% consensus that infrastructure issues are a challenge right now across the entire state.
Phillips steered clear of giving his opinion on whether Palm Coast should raise utility rates to help pay for $614 million in needed infrastructure upgrades over the next 5 years.
We're going to have to address those at some point. And whether this is the right decision or the wrong decision is not for me to decide, but we have to address those infrastructure issues moving forward.
The biggest project in the city's infrastructure improvement plan is a $265 million expansion of wastewater treatment facility number 1. From the WNZF newsroom, I'm Daryl Moody.
This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota US 1 St. Augustine, here to wow you. The city of Palm Coast is now accepting applications for its vacated City Council District 3 seat. Brittany Kershaw is the Director of Communications and Marketing.
Recently, one of our city council members, Mr. Ray Stevens, he submitted his resignation. So we currently have a vacancy on the city council in District 3. And to fill that, the city council has decided to open up an application process, and they're currently accepting applications by any residents of the city of Palm Coast that live in District 3 who would like to fulfill Mr. Stevens' term through November 2026. They can apply for the seat, and the application deadline period is March 19th by 5 p.m. After that, there will be interviews with the applicants on April 1st. There will be discussion of the applicants on April 8th, and then the final appointment date will be on April 15th. And so if anyone is interested, they can visit the city's website at palmcoast.gov. If you go into the newsroom, there's a post on there about the vacant seat and step-by-step instructions on how you can apply and the calendar dates to remember. So again, anybody in District 3 in the city of Palm Coast who would like to serve their community and sit on the city council through November of 2026, you can go ahead and apply for that seat by March 19th.
In other news, tonight is the night baseball fans locally have been waiting for. The Old Kings Diamond game. FPC High School Baseball versus Matanzas High School Baseball. Don't miss any of the action tonight live at 7 o'clock on the Flagler Radio YouTube channel. And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.